Guys, what's up? This is the Frequency Control Show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What up?
dude. Happy holidays. It's about to be Halloween.
Yeah.
So go ahead and put in the comments what you're going to dress like this Halloween. We'd like to hear it.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So,
I'm gonna be me.
yeah, me too. I'm going to dress like a ghost. And I'll just wear the same outfit because you ain't never seen me around. So I don't hang out or nothing.
I
I'm
ain't never
ghost.
leave my house. So
Yeah, me
I'm
either.
I got the best I'm the best Halloween character. You ain't ever gonna even see me
Casper.
because I'm never gonna leave or answer the door if any kid knocks.
Yep.
Anyways,
So today's
What
podcast.
up?
Today's podcast is going to be based on the consistency of getting the same information. You know, we kind of talked about it last week
we did.
about how you got to kind of keep taking in the information, and I experienced that from a different aspect, and still in the rut right now as we speak. But it's like we were starting to think that hey, some of our podcasts kind of keep hitting on the same notes every time, and it's just like another regurgitation of the same stuff. And then I was explaining to Will how important it is, because it's like I read this information for the last 3 years and have exercised the same information, yet I left to California for a few days and came back, and it's like immediately I'm like I had never read any of this information, and I'm negative, and I'm letting things get to me. I'm resentful, and it's like I need to keep getting this same information, and it's not new advice from a friend. It's giving me new advice. It's the same advice, and I just need to take it in and go, "You're right." And let me re-go. It's like the same advice. Like everyone's looking for the new magic pill, but it might be the same old pill. Like it worked. You just got to execute that plan, right? Like it's like looking for a magical play to win the Super Bowl. It's like no. There's the same plays. You have to execute those plays, and that's how you win. And so you sometimes you got to hear those same plays again. Sometimes you got to hear that same advice again. Sometimes you got to hear that same information again and again and again, and keep reading that information. Like I found myself this whole week acting like a person who's never read a word of this information, and literally it affecting me as such. You know, dealing with the same stuff as a person who's not enlightened to this information. You know what I mean? Being resentful, being negative, being upset, letting it get to me, you know, and it's and I'll probably go about my next couple of days that way until I finally get out of my funk. But my point is to keep regurgitating the same information, like even from our podcast standpoint. It's like it's almost necessary to keep reminding you of the same stuff.
This podcast is extremely important because just like last week we were talking about, I just got out of a funk. Last week I was talking about how I was in the funk, and I had separated myself a little bit from listening to this information like I normally do, and I've been having a consistently bad attitude. And then I started listening to the audios and refamiliarize myself with how to use this information to make me feel better about where I'm going and rejuvenate my energy of all this other stuff is such small stuff. It's just on the path to where I'm trying to go. But sometimes I need this information and the way they break it down and how it resonates with me and makes sense. I need it to build my negative barrier back up with even within myself, to get my mental state into thinking about what I do want that's coming, and but deeper than when I'm not listening to the information. it's like I had mentioned last week, it's like a part of, you know, it's a part of who I am, and it affects my attitude when I'm not continuously feeding it, because we're grinding so hard, and we're taking a lot of action. We're taking a lot of action towards what we're doing, what I'm doing, and I feel like getting into the grind of getting this stuff done, I sometimes aren't sitting back and meditating about it like I normally do. I'm not pacing up and down scenarios of what it's going to be like inside this Jackson compound. Oh my gosh, there's a track all the way around it, and the floor is clear, and all this weird stuff, and the exciting stuff of what's coming. But sometimes I get away from thinking about that when I'm caught up in the grind and not listening to the information. But thank God we have these podcasts every week to remind myself. And then last week, after listening to the information and being more prepared for the podcast, because I listened to some information during the week leading up to the podcast and giving me ideas on topics for the podcast that just as if by magic already happened naturally with what I've already been written, which is really interesting. How is it that the topic of the podcast is what I've had already written, but I haven't talked to Robert about it? That just shows you, how much we are in tune with what we're doing, which is really exciting now that we have a goal together to reach. Knowing that I don't have to talk to him every day, but knowing that our same common goal is obviously we're on the same page. So I don't have to talk to him every day about, hey, are you thinking about it? Are you thinking about it? You know what I mean? I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm taking a whole lot of action. Are you thinking about it? Calling him or making sure he's thinking about it and not thinking about other things. I don't have to do it because it doesn't really matter if he's thinking about it all the time. We're on the same. We're in tune. We're in tune with each other without talking to each other. And that's exciting now that we have a common goal together, too. A mastermind goal. But yeah, it's like when I first got this information, you couldn't get me to stop listening to it. And I was at a really high state of, just living it and talking about it. And it's easy to get off of that when you're stuck in, okay, now I have to actually go execute the action to achieve what I want, other than just sitting around thinking about it and how amazing it feels. You gotta go out and make it happen as well. So it's just so much more that I have to keep feeding myself this information because it helps me not get lost in those moments when the excitement has faded. Which is usually 4 days for me. 4 days. And then I need another pick-me-up in these audios. Because I'm telling you, as soon as I'm hear him again, and something is mentioned, and I'm just like, I want to talk about this on Thursday. I'm already in a great place. I feel amazing. I've been going to work with such a better attitude because I'm not stuck in the thinking of is what I'm doing enough. I'm taking action, but I haven't seen any results, even though I don't really dwell on that very much. But just, there's a lot of stuff that needs to get done. And in order to reach this, not even the stuff that I need to get done. There's other stuff I need to be doing to create more people to talk to about this information. And that whole process, it's so you can get lost in the grind of your next logical hustles, your action steps that you need to take to achieve what you want, and get lost and forget to feel good every time you think about it. And I just want to say it again. every time I start listening to this information, it takes me to an amazing, happy place to where I need it now. It is more than just a part of me. It is who I am at this point. And I'm totally okay with that. But that's how, and in the beginning of the information, it was talked about how you're always a student. You're always a student of the information. You're always studying. You're never at a point, oh, I know it all. Nothing else for me to learn. You're always learning. Every time I go, it's been 3-4 years now. Every time I go back, maybe longer. Every time I go back to the information, this stuff, I missed that. I didn't hear that before. Because now I'm in a different place. Now I'm more advanced in my thinking and my actions, that now I'm hearing this information different. And that's exciting. Like, how can it get any better? I've already listened to it for 5 years now, 4 or 5 years now. How can it get any more interesting? Man, and it's not even always about getting more interesting. Just hearing this information now calms my soul. It makes me feel better. It makes me just helps me be happier and be ready to tackle what's going on every time I leave my front door. And all the negativity I'm getting blasted at, this information helps me walk with pride in those situations. And I can't stress it enough. I mean, you people watching, I hope you just go and check this information out. Go and just download this daily takeoff checklist that hopefully are in the links again in the description, and just read it and see what happens and comment and tell us. If it didn't change you, if you don't feel better after you've read this daily takeoff checklist, put it in the comments. If it made you feel better, then, I'm happy. I'm happy that you actually took action. There's going to be a point where people are watching these and people are going to start thanking us. I thank the person that gave me this information. Robert has thanked me for, kind of starting his path down this information, because this is like when you actually take the time to just study it, it'll be the most eye-opening and amazing information you'll ever be studying in your life, because it will completely change your life and your happiness and your relationships and your ability to create the things that you want and the belief that you can, that you might not have had before. And if you read something and it makes you feel good, then why wouldn't you want to read that all the time? Because isn't the real goal to make it real simple? Is just to feel good now, feel better than I did, feel better now. I just want to be happy. Every time I tune in this information, I feel amazing. And it rejuvenates my energy to keep going and makes me and helps me react better when I come across the negative stuff going on outside my front door on my phone. Now, when I get this information, when I wasn't getting this information, I would get suckered into these. You go on Facebook, man, and on the bottom here, there's these news feed, watch, news, or mine anyways, dating, and these notifications. If I press anything else but these two buttons on the right, I'm screwed. All this negative, all Biden. I do have got all this video game stuff, but all this negative stuff, and it's like, when I'm not listening to these audios and in tune with what I'm doing, I'll get suckered into pressing these other buttons. And Instagram's the same way. Lord, don't let me push that button that has the house on it. Or search. Don't let me hit that search button because this page is all full of some stuff I just want to look at for hours. And if I don't have this information, I might get caught up in 2 hours of watching some Mike Tyson videos. You know, I might get caught up into watching some Michael Jordan videos because this is the stuff I like to watch. But when I'm in this information, you know, because I'm going on Instagram to like post stuff about our show, so I'm on it. So here, if I click this search button, it's a wrap if I'm not careful, and I'm going hours into this thing. It's even worse on Facebook because I kind of want to know a little bit about the news. But once I start watching a little bit about the news, now I'm reading all of this, just more COVID, more death, borders are open. You know what I mean? Talking trash about the president. You know what I mean? And how he's carrying himself and all this kind of stuff. It's just people murdered. It's if I'm not in this information often, I can get suckered into that stuff easily when I'm going to do what I'm trying to do. There's been times I go on Instagram because I'm going to make a post. And I just spent an hour and a half looking at other stuff and didn't even make the post. And then forget that I went on Instagram in the first place to make a post. Now it's an hour and a half. I haven't made the post. Forgot I was even on here to make a post. And now I'm looking at all this other stuff I don't need to be looking at. You know, and the funny thing is this is set up this way. And so many people aren't even willing to pay attention to that sentence. And I'll say it again. This is set up to do this to us. This is set up so we hit these buttons and we're manipulated by this information, and just another way to help like keep us vibrating at low levels that we forget we can even achieve the things we want to achieve. It's set up like that. But if you aren't studying this information, you would just think that's the stupidest thing you've ever heard, and so many people do. That's why I only have one friend. One friend. Because everyone else I tell this to is like, what? Or try and talk to about, not everybody, but more often than not, man, people aren't even willing to hear this information, to open their eyes about possibly something bigger that could be going on. Maybe look at the bigger picture, that things may not all be what they seem clicking on these things and watching the news. It might not be. And guess what? Yes, the truth can be scary. The truth can be extremely scary. But with this type of information, it opens your eyes to a broader vision of kind of what's going on, how people are acting, how things are being run, how this information was passed down among elite families before it got to people like us. If you think about it, years ago, you didn't see anything about this information. And now you could get a feel of it now. Clearly, you could get a feel of it. But years ago, I don't ever remember seeing anything about this information. Imagine even further years. None of this stuff got out because this information has been hidden. Why has it been hidden? Why has it been hidden from mid-level incomes or people? You know, why is it always, been passed down through generations between the elite classes, the higher ups, the princesses and princes and kings and queens? Why are they keeping this information a secret? Why is all the real books on this stuff locked up in, these politicians' homes? these presidential homes. Got to be careful with what you say. Posting, where's this going? YouTube, right? So we got to be careful with the content because we want to continue to stay live. So we'll kind of steer away from getting too like too deep into. Don't you ever wonder why they're censoring the information? You know, why are they, why do I have to be scared to get shut, that YouTube is going to shut me down because I'm talking about information that's actually going to help people? That doesn't seem odd to anybody. But this kind of seems a little odd. We're trying to help people. We're trying to maybe open people's mind to what another angle of what should be going on, and we're getting censored for it. Something doesn't add up. So it's just like, man, this information is life-changing. And it's opened my eyes up to a lot of things I had no idea was really going on. Now, do I really have an idea? I mean, who knows for sure, right? But if you search out enough of this material, you can get a big picture of what's happening. And a lot of it is scary and intimidating. What are we going to do? How can we make things better when there's so much divide among us and nobody's questioning how this divide happened? Man, I want to get into this, but we want to keep this show going. Yeah, this information, let's keep it on the information. This is how important this information, I mean, this is probably the most grateful thing I'm for, other than just being a happier person and knowing I'm creating some really everything that I've wanted and I've been thinking about for all my entire life, pretty much. Not that, but what I'm almost even the most grateful for is how much it's woken me up from being a sheep. Because when you get woke up from being a sheep, you're really open to a lot of things. And you see a lot more things. You pay attention to a lot more things. You pay attention to more what other people are doing. I pay attention to every word people say to me and say to other people, and always just breaking it down within my own head, They're always talking about what they don't want. Always talking about they're broke. What's their life like? Always talking about what they can't achieve. And just like, man, this person is right. They're not going to achieve that. And sometimes I talk with them. Sometimes I talk with them, hey, be careful with that. Or so there's just it's so much. I just, it gets overwhelming. Everybody's talking. I mean, at least kind of some of the areas I'm around at work, and that's really it because I don't go anywhere else. So it's really all about work, honestly. But, just the customers and everybody, it's surprising how much people don't even realize what's coming out of their mouth. I'm training with a lady right now. They sent a lady to train with me from another store. And this is her second day with me now. And she's, I'm helping her mindset a little bit because I'm in a position to teach. And she tells me a lot of stuff she can't do because I'm showing her stuff and then she's saying she can't, and I'm hitting her from angle. You're right. You can't. Well, maybe in 6 months and all this, I'm just, man, no, just now, you can't put it, you just got to do it anyways. But it's just so surprising. Because the conversations we should be having is, I'm tired of being positive and creating things. I want to go think negative for a minute. That's what we should be talking about, is how how to stop thinking so positive because everyone just thinks you're. Ooh, I was about to mess up there. How am I? We should be having conversations of I'm so tired of succeeding. I just want to fail for a while. You know what I mean? How do I fail? This is how you fail. You stop doing. You stop defining what you want. You don't ever think about it. You never believe you can achieve it. And that's how you can start failing at stuff. This is what we should be talking about. Because we're all succeeding so much. I just want to fail for once and be normal. And well, that wouldn't be the norm. I just want to be different. I want to be different and fail. I mean, who would ever say that? But you never. Hey, if you were succeeding all the time, maybe you want to see what failure was like. That's the conversations we should be having. Is how much we're all succeeding. I want to be tired of succeeding. There's a good thing to put on a wall. I'm tired of succeeding. Because that's all I do. That's all I do is succeed. I am tired of succeeding. Anyways, another episode of the Frequency Control Show. We are talking about how important it is this information is in our lives. And that's for a reason. Because this information is important in our lives. Not only a happier person and knowing I can create the things I want and what steps to take to do that, but opening my eyes of what's going on in the world. How this information has been concealed from us. I don't know what else. I don't know what else on that one. This information is important. Download that daily takeoff checklist and let me know that you don't feel better after you read it. And if there's parts you don't understand, there's some audios coming soon that break it down further. And some audios where you don't have to read it. You could be going about your day and listen to it in your car. Listen to it when you're making breakfast. Listen to it before you go to bed at night, and you don't have to read it. And then there's a repeat version where you can repeat these positive things you should be saying to yourself every day. You can repeat it after me. So you don't have to walk around and read. You can just go about making your breakfast or type it on your computer and doing your thing and just feeding this information into you. Like we did. Definitely like I was addicted. The moment I heard this information, I woke up at 8 in the morning and listened to this information straight till 9 at night. There wasn't one break, nothing. And I was blown away. And I immediately made a decision that led me to hanging out with my daughter more than I ever have in my life. That's how important this information has been for me. And and it always hasn't been roses and sunshine as well. I've gone through a lot of struggles, not because of this information, but because of the decisions I've made knowing this information. It has led to me going through some pretty struggling times for a reason. And how to look at those times and realize how much those struggling times blessed my life. And some of them really don't look good. And some of them I still question if I would make the same decision again, especially when it comes to my daughter. It'd be very hard, challenging to say I would make the same decisions when it comes to my kid. She's the most important, right? But it's left me I've been in tough situations where I didn't see her for a little while. Anyways, I'm not trying to go there either. So yes, this information allowed me to figure out ways that completely turn the dynamic between myself and her mother. And I've seen my daughter more than I ever have. at that point in time. This information, I can't tell you how much it's benefited me. So I need this information all the time. That's all I have on it.
All right, yeah. So, guys, the title of the show, consistency. So, you've got to consistently get great information. It's much like food. You got to consistently eat great food. It's not a new recipe every week where you keep trying new recipes to keep going and growing to something else for great health. It's consistently eating the great foods, and a lot of times it's the same foods over and over again, but you got to keep eating those same foods over and over again. And this is much like that. You're going to keep eating the same information. You're going to keep feeding your brain and your mind and your soul the same information. Great information is great information regardless. So a great meal for your body is a great meal for your body regardless of if you eat it 7 days a week. So you've got to keep eating that same great stuff. It's not going to constantly be something new and a new recipe to keep being great. Sometimes people love pizza, even though it's not good for you, but it still tastes good no matter how much you eat it. It's going to keep no, I can't do it. It's got to be a new recipe every week. I can't keep doing that pepperoni pizza. So again, we keep hitting you off with that same information, kind of mixed, because it is what it is. It's good information, and you got to keep feeding yourself that good information. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that daily check off.
Deuces.
Right.
Daily takeoff checklist.
I love messing it up because he just loves it. So I didn't say sheet this time.
I hate the sheet too.
At the end of the day, it don't matter. It's on a sheet. So
checklist.
Daily takeoff checklist. Hit it up. Link will be in the description.
You got nothing to lose. You have nothing to do but win.
It's free. Just take it.
It's free. Just read it and change
read it every day. You feel good, and it's consistency. Consistently doing that every day. That's a piece of consistency. You've got to consistently do things great every day. So, like, comment.